away. Yeah.
Oh, coming in hot with little Troy. All you youngsters don't know nothing about that. We wish that you did. Google it. Little Troy. Yes. Mike, young, smart 24-year-old man. We're here at Mock Draft Monday. I've wasted enough of everybody's time already. This is where you come to ask your questions, lay out your objections, and talk about, let's overreact to what we saw going on in the preseason so far this year. I think Joe is going to lay down a funky beat. He's doing some sort of bad rock impression with the eyebrow. What's happening?
I just said I can't wait to draft Nathan Peterman.
Again, welcome into the show. I am joined by always as Joe Morley. He is the co-host of Friday Night Wars. You will see him on other shows. He's got his Raiders Allegiance show on Wednesday nights. Mike on the mic, hosting nuts and bolts with me. I don't know what that motion was to. It was probably to the Raiders garbage that we were talking about there. Mike all over the place. And our special guest sitting in with us today is Ben Dunna from the Fantasy Shot Callers. Ben, let the people know where they can find you, follow you, and get plugged in with all your fantasy information.
Instagram, fantasy_shot callers. TikTok, _fantasy shot callers. Instagram, or Apple, Google, Frugal, and Spotify. We hit them all. We just launched our Followers League. Joe Morley is on the board. Let's get it cracking. He's going to go Nathan Peterman, #1 overall. Sorry, Tony. I know you really wanted him, but I don't even know if you're in this draft.
I am not. I'm not, Ben, because I can't multitask. So whenever I am here just sort of talking, filling dead air or whatever like that, I will just drift off. I'll be like this on my phone. And all I can see is the afro. But yes, we are already rolling. Joe kicking it off, going traditional with CMC. There was a great stat that I saw the other day about him where he's only played a combined total of 19 games in 2 years, and he still has hundreds of points more than the next closest running. That's how impressive the year before the injury was, that he is crushing everybody in fantasy.
Normally I do something crazy in the draft in the first round, and normally you guys go off on me. So today I was like, I'm going to easy road. I'll take CMC. Let everybody be happy for one time.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like it's more crazy you went CMC than it would have been if you went Dalvin Cook or Derrick Henry. I think it's a little bit more crazy that you went CMC just because of your track record. So I'm surprised still.
It does make sense. It does make sense.
Can't win.
Did you guys script the first 4 picks because you guys all picked in under 5 seconds on your clock?
They know what it is. But Ben didn't waste any time at number 5 either, getting Zeke Elliott. You like Zeke better than Barkley or Chubb?
100%. Injury and committee. I'll stay away from that. I'd rather take a hurt Dak Prescott leaning on Zeke a little bit more than anyone else. And, Jonathan Taylor, just an even bigger committee. So, yeah, has to be Zeke for me at 5.
I'm in agreement with that thought process. I actually have Zeke ahead of Kamara and Henry.
I could see that too.
I just especially in a full point PPR, I think he gets enough work in the passing game to be more effective than Henry, but he gets more carries and will do more on the ground than Kamara. I'll just feel safer with him than I will with those other ones.
Come on, Steezy.
Steezy, what happened?
Ooh, Steezy.
I do want to shout out Johnny, though, and Tony, don't be getting on Johnny's team because he will come after you.
I know. He comes, correct, too.
Turn up the Jets is on the clock. Turn up the Jets.
Turn up the Jets. I forget that you're a Jets fan. How did you feel about your boy Wilson's performance the other day? It was pretty nice.
So, yeah, it was, but this is the reason why I don't watch preseason. because it gives you false hope to players that, one, you've never heard of, that are like third on the depth chart, unless it's for Dynasty, which is nice. But two, it also just it's like Zach Wilson and Corey Davis, the connection, awesome. Chemistry building, that's dope and everything. But the real fact of it is that they were playing their first stringers against the Packers' third stringers. So I don't trust it until I can see it on a week-to-week basis. So I'm still throwing my faith into Elijah Moore a little more because Corey Davis has had some bad games with some bad drops in the past couple of years. So, but but Zach Wilson, like talking to Aaron Rodgers, like I would take that over more than anything that was produced on the field.
Yeah, I think it's kind of interesting because Elijah Moore did not play in that game. And so Corey Davis was the targeted one. I do like to see young people. I was very encouraged because if you look at the reports that came out about him in his own practice and throwing interceptions and stuff like that, I think that there's something nice about building confidence in the preseason. These guys are still in the NFL. It's not like they came to a pickup game with me and Mike at the park and they were like, these guys are still like at least getting invites to camp. So while they're not all pros,
where's Steezy at, Mike?
Steve, he just got on. You see the green dot just came up.
I did. I just saw that.
He's putting together a nice auto draft squad, though. So what I'm saying is I'm encouraged for your Jets. That maybe this is a 5 or 6 win, competitive, fun team to watch. Like I think that's a big step up from last year.
I mean, the whole losing Carl Lawson really, really hurt. I mean, he hadn't played it down for the Jets, and every Jets page is posting bring Chandler Jones to the Jets, and Joe Douglas would be a god if they brought him to the Jets, and honestly, he kind of would be. I mean, honestly, he already is kind of a god because of what he did with the Eagles back in that Super Bowl year. But I mean, that would just, if the Jets can make the playoffs in the next 2 years, that just solidifies his GM dominance. He'll be sitting right next to Rob Pelinka.
Let's get these gentlemen some statues. George Kittle going to Boda. Nice pick. I saw somebody jumped in on our little tight end thing and called me an idiot for putting Hawkinson above that. I was like, thank you for that. You're a Browns fan. That really has a lot of credence. I appreciate that.
Tony, did you see this comment right here by Johnny Talk Sports about Jonathan Taylor? He passed on him because he didn't feel comfortable with him now as he did a few weeks ago. And it's interesting to hear that because Carson Wentz is back at practice today and should be ready to go week 1. So are we back on the Jonathan Taylor train, or is that dropping him again?
I never really lost confidence in him. I kind of liked him more. Like I figured they were going to just at least
without
have to give
Carson,
him the
right?
volume. Yeah. Then you're really going to be leaning on him as much as you can. I never really was out on him. So he's still in that same 7, 8, 9 range for me when I'm looking at drafting.
Yeah, if you're in that little area, which I hate that little area, that 7, 8, 9 range. That's like my least favorite place to draft because you either got to reach on Austin Eckler if you don't like Jonathan Taylor, or you got to reach one of the receivers at that spot. You're pretty screwed there. Aaron Jones, maybe 7, 8, 9. It's a little early though.
I mean, it kind of like at that point when you're in 7, 8, 9, you kind of just got to go with what you got. If you want Aaron Jones and that's your, you wanted a later pick, Joe Morley, you sandbagging. I thought he was going to drop. Nice pick, good pick.
I do like the pick. I agree. At 7, 8, and 9, I'm really considering the best wide receiver, especially in a full point PPR. I'm looking at players like Stephon Diggs, Devontae Adams, and Tyreek Hill.
Yeah, I'm not going to pass on Darren Waller with the first, coming around the turn right there. I got to take him. I don't normally like taking tight ends high, so if I was in any other situation, without being this number one pick, I would have not probably taken him. But Darren Waller's on my team now, guys. What's up?
And Darren Waller, whatever about Waller. The next pick was your real pick.
And that's my complaint, Mike. Why you should have taken Keenan in the second and then Waller in the third. We're talking about like the draft capital you're spending. Put it into Keenan Allen. Don't put it into a Raider. That's not a winning solution.
Oh, I don't know if you guys saw this. He said the loss of Nelson is more concerning than Wentz, but ride or die with JT.
Yeah, but even Nelson was back. I saw that. Like Nelson and Wentz both were returning, and I agree with that. Quentin
I'm going to be reaching on this one, but I don't care. I'm super high on this guy.
No reaching allowed.
You know
CeeDee
what?
Lamb.
Give a little reach around.
I don't know if that is reaching on CeeDee Lamb right there. I like him, man. He's the best receiver on the Cowboys. Tell you that.
I don't know. Who's ever this Mighty Mo's?
That's a friend of mine who wanted to draft with us. We got a draft coming up here soon. So I said, hey, man, we got an open slot. Get some reps in. And he's got the third-year wide receiver pair right there.
You better be scared because he's drafting pretty damn good.
I was just going to say, Mike, this guy is a better drafter than you. And I don't know how you feel about that.
Whoa.
It's not personal. Don't take it. It's not personal.
We're in
Tony
round 3.
Tony Tucker throwing shots.
We're in round 3 here, Tony. Got a lot of draft to go, all right?
He took 2 of my favorite players. Like, he took Metcalf and McLaurin. Like, these are 2 of my favorite players.
Doubled them up, too, back to back.
Yeah.
And honestly, whoever Joe Fly is, I was thinking about going Carson with that third-round pick.
Yes.
And I just keep getting sniped.
Pew, pew, pew.
So I guess I'm sniping a lot of people and they don't like it. Johnny's mad because I've done it the last couple of weeks. Same Old Sports is mad at me today. Apologize to you guys, but I'm going to keep doing it.
Don't apologize.
And if you guys saw this one right here, very confused on how Joe Mixon is still available. So he went, number 3 in the third round.
2.
It's funny because he's always I love Sports Hines, dude. I've been on his show several times. It's very fun. You should check him out. Somebody help me put that back up there so I get the name right. Sports Hines, dude, right? Or Sports Dude Hines.
Sports Dude Hines Show.
Sports Dude Hines Show on YouTube. Great. Check him out.
Big Bengals fan.
Always perplexed when the Bengals are getting dissed, as if we don't know this to just be like common law amongst sports fans. Like he's like, how come these Corey Dillon and all these Bengals aren't in the Hall of Fame? It's like because they're the Bengals. Like it's not a mystery. Like we just
Dalton's auto drafting again. What do you know?
Dalton, and it takes a quarterback, of course.
Of course,
we're all shocked.
His first one.
It'll be his first of 6.
Well, he drafted Josh Allen like early on in the third a couple weeks ago, so now he's already getting him to turn on the 4th. So quarterbacks are going a little bit later as we get closer to drafts. Josh Allen in the 4th, pretty good.
Yeah. And for all you Joe Mixon lovers in the chat, I hate Joe Mixon. I will not draft Joe Mixon no matter what. I don't care if he's the last running back on the board and I have 0 running backs. I'm not taking Joe Mixon, especially if you look at his schedule this year. And if you're looking at the playoffs, he has a tough schedule for a running back. But I'm just not touching him because of everything from the past couple of years. And I already told you guys, I don't like Zach Taylor. I don't like the coach over in Cincinnati.
I'm kind of with Joe. Like, there's not really an area where I'm happy taking Joe Mixon unless it's like the end of the 3rd or into the 4th, and he never makes it that far in any of the mocks. Because if I'm even into the middle of the 3rd, I would rather have every one of those players drafted where Joe Mixon is, and I would still rather have Allen Robinson, David Montgomery, J.K. Dobbins, Cooper Kupp all before. So it's like he keeps moving down the line. Because you get Josh Jacobs in the 4th round, and there's going to be a couple other players that are coming up in the 4th and 5th rounds that are going to get drafted. And it's like, I'd rather get a stud receiver or maybe a tight end, at that position if that's what it calls for. Brown's 32. This is the guy who called me an idiot for my rank of George Kittle. Welcome to the stream, Brown. Browns fan 32. How you doing?
Well, now he's calling you an idiot because he said if nobody's touching Joe Mixon, then he's going to take it and let him win his league. Actually, you're going to lose your league. And a lot of people would agree. A lot of people will agree. If you're drafting Joe Mixon and you're drafting him high, have fun with that. You could have him all day.
Browns fan 32. Can you name the last time Joe Mixon had a full season?
That's kind of more my thing. It's like it's not Joe Mixon's talent. It's the team that he's on.
It's not his talent at all. Of course not. It's the amount of mouths to feed that has to have to go around. Especially with Jamar Chase coming in, them drafting him when they really didn't need to. They're going to throw him the ball, even if he drops it, because if they don't, they're going to look foolish. Second off, it's Tyler Boyd's still there. T. Higgins is close to being a wide receiver 1 in fantasy, in my opinion, this year in year 2. And
where do you get him at then? If you are going to look at him,
who?
Where should Mixon be going? I feel like 3rd round.
I mean, yeah, Mixon is third round is good.
I don't know.
I'm saying he can go 3rd round. I'm just not taking him.
And that's
so if he's in the 4th round, are you taking him in the 4th round?
I would take him in the 4th round.
7th round, you guys just won't take him ever?
I just
no, that's not true.
If I didn't take any running back, and he's the last running back on the board, I'm not taking him. That's how much I don't like Joe Mixon.
Mike, I opened up my statement by saying I would take him in the end of where you took Swift. I would take Mixon in that range, and I'd be happy with it. But before that, that's why I listed all the players in the rest of the 3rd round and some into the 4th that I would have taken before I took Mixon that early in the 3rd.
Yeah, probably.
I'm not passing up on Terry McLaurin or CD Lamb or whatever. I'm taking him towards the end of the 3rd.
Yeah, I think right there where J.K. Dobbins is, that's probably as early as I would take him.
Yeah,
too. I don't think I would take J.K. over him.
Okay.
To be honest.
Yeah, whatever.
But I would take David Montgomery over him probably. Miles Sanders, I'm on the fence. He's I don't know what I would do if I had to choose.
Oh, Browns fan, you just yeah. See, I hate Joe Mixon just like he hates Jalen Hurts. Yeah, I hate Jalen Hurts too. So we're on the same page on that. So we're all good. Tony, you ready to get mad right now?
Oh, why? What just happened?
Look at this right here.
No.
Goodness.
No.
Okay, please explain to me how a guy who's playing with what was left of Alex Smith, Dwayne Haskins, and Kyle Allen is overrated, and the guy's putting up 1,100 yards with people who couldn't get him the football when he's wide open. And as a rookie, played with another group of not so good quarterbacks and is putting up numbers. The guy gets open. He's competes for every contested ball. He scores touchdowns. He's fast. What's not to love?
We can dissect it even further. What does overrated even mean?
Joe,
I feel like in order to overrate someone as good as McLaurin, you got to have him inside your top 8 or top 7 wide receivers. No one is doing that. Overrated would be everyone's ranking him super high. I feel like right around that 12 range is good for him. I think I had him at 11 in my rankings or 13. He's not overrated, man. He's a young and up and coming guy.
You want Miles Gaskin?
Yes, I wanted Miles Gaskin.
I wanted Miles Gaskin too. Everyone wants Miles Gaskin. It's Miles Gaskin.
He's a sleeper. He's a sleeper.
He's a sleeper this year.
Yes. Mike, thank you for making that point. He's the 11th wide receiver taken off the board. That's not over. He's not being overrated in this draft.
Look at DK went a full round before him. A full round.
Football therapist, what's up?
All right. So I think Browns fan 32 is confused with actual football and fantasy football because Fitzpatrick has his boom games and is always solid to his receivers no matter what. If he throws 5 interceptions, his receivers will still average 15 to 22 points. So, the fact of the matter is he may lose a bunch of games, but in fantasy, Ryan Fitzpatrick's receivers do well, and the tight ends. Logan Thomas is going to have a great year with having Fitzpatrick under helm as well.
Nope, I agree. Brandon Marshall, right? Devontae Parker had a good year a couple years ago. Even when he was with the Bucks, Mike Evans had a good year for however many of those games that he played in. He always throws for a lot of yards and loves his most talented receiver, and it's Terry McLaurin. He said something about Curtis Samuel in there. Curtis Samuel's a nice player. He's not even the stratosphere with Terry McLaurin and what he can do.
No way.
And then when my boy Taylor Heineke gets in there, it's over. It's over.
Tony Romo 2.0. No, I mean also we're not taking into account here how young of a player he is. Like he's saying wide receiver 20 in PPR last year. You don't think he's going to improve at all? You don't think he's going to keep getting better and better?
Yeah, no kickers, no defense.
And in real life, he's a bit underrated is what he's saying because he's not on the level of the receivers in his draft class. The only receiver that I compare him to is A.J. Brown and DK Metcalf. No one else is close to Terry McLaurin from that draft class other than those two.
When did Ryan Fitzpatrick become this all-time great quarterback? Like we've mentioned it on a couple of shows now. If you guys want to go back to Fantasy Football Speakeasy, go back and do it. But Fitzpatrick is garbage. He's garbage. And Washington fans are believing that he's the next coming of, like, I don't know who, Rich Gannon, the guy who was a travel quarterback and then went to the Super Bowl. It's garbage. Garbage.
So are you talking about like real football or fantasy right now?
I'm talking about everything. If you're trusting in the Washington football team, you're trusting in trash.
Don't do it.
Go outside, get in the garbage can, and go home to the Washington football team.
The moment he came out, D-Jax's chain and hoodie, he's a legend for the rest of all of time to me. That was such a great move. It was very classy.
Don't do it, Skirto.
Somebody already took your quarterback, Mike. Herbert already went.
Yeah, we're fine. We're fine with that. I think that's a good spot to get him. I think Boda's putting together a pretty nice team.
I can't wait to do the NFC West or NFC East.
I'm going to be standing alone on an island. I can already tell how everybody's talking about the NFC East. Joe's going to say something stupid like the New York Giants and Joe Judge are going to win 13 games this year. And Mike will be on the Cowboys. I know. I can already tell.
But I don't have 13 wins. That's stupid. No team in that division is even going to touch 9.
Speaking of not touching the ball, Jamar Chase just went.
He touches it.
He does.
Somebody caught him.
He did go a little bit later, though, than he has been going in mocks because he's been going closer to the early part of the 5th and sometimes even into the 4th. So maybe even in the next couple of weeks, if the reports continue to trend in the direction that they've been going, like my thing is that I like Jamar Chase, just not where he was being drafted on all these mocks. Like he was going in the 4th round next to like Robert Woods and Cooper Kupp, guys that got an upgraded quarterback and they still produce every single year. Like I just would never take Jamar Chase in an offense where I think T. Higgins is the best receiver on the team.
I mean, he just went in the 5th round and then he just picked T. Higgins as well. So
you need to holler at your boy. You need to holler at your Jets fan right there.
Yeah, I guess so. But, I mean, nevertheless, I think 5th round is still too high for him because he is not the wide receiver 1 on that team. But unfortunately, with people drafting him in the 4th round, he will still keep going for some reason. And, I mean, we could be totally wrong and he becomes this crazy wide receiver that no one's ever heard of or like a Justin Jefferson. But I don't think that's the case. He didn't play last year, so that's a big chemistry with the pigskin. And then he has to work on chemistry with the offense and chemistry with the quarterback as well. There's just, oh my gosh, why did Mike Gesicki go in the 6th round?
Because my way Mighty Mose is putting together a monster squad.
Ben, you said he's better drafter than me, right?
I did not say that.
I didn't know. I was very.
Mike, they're not liking your draft right now, anyways.
Browns fan. He thinks that we're gonna get a superstar at every position. We're doing good. I like this draft.
Gesicki in the 6th round is insane. Somebody fell in love with Tua. They fell in love with what the Dolphins are doing, and they can do it. But I want to say what's up to this guy right here. Rock out.
Rock out.
I haven't seen this name. Rock out.
14-man leagues are the way to go. The more people, the better, in my opinion. That's the more people for me to take advantage of in the trade market.
Yeah, and the harder, the more teams you have, the harder the league is to win. But the more the funner it is, right?
Yeah. If there's any fakers in there, they're gonna get exposed in a 14-man league.
They gonna get
that first set of injuries week 1. You don't know what the hell to do because there's no one available on waiver wire.
I like this Browns fan 32. He likes to talk trash. This is good.
Yeah, it is good.
I'm a
Yeah,
fan
but he's
of
talking
Browns
trash
fan.
with a Browns name.
Hey, the Browns are going to the Super Bowl this year.
No, they're not.
I take the Browns to the Super Bowl every night.
Los Angeles.
I see what you did there.
That wasn't funny. Stop laughing at his joke.
Oh. Where are you guys at on anybody else like DJ Moore and the opportunity? Like, do we think Sam Darnold is enough of an upgrade for him to be going in the 6th round, or would you rather just wait?
I was in the spot right there at that pick where I took Hawkinson in the last turnaround, 5.11. And I was debating between him and DJ Moore just because I really need a wide receiver 2, and I still need a wide receiver 2. I'm hoping I can find a sleeper later in the draft.
No, you will. They're coming up.
That's who I was debating between, so I feel a little bit comfortable with DJ Moore. I just knew because Dalton's on auto pick, if I took Moore first, then it was going to auto pick Hawkinson, and I wanted him more. He was more important to me in that spot, so I made sure I got Hawkinson, and then sure enough, auto pick gets Moore. But I was going to get more on the pair.
Okay, but yeah, you
I
got
like
Aaron
DJ Moore, and it looks like everybody else loves DJ Moore. Even Browns fans love him. I think Joe Skirtle was saying something like, I'm pretending I have more instead of Chase because my computer froze and got auto-picked. Same old sports, likes more. So there you go.
Then that makes sense.
Jansen, what's going on? Jansen, thanks for saying it's a dope show. I appreciate it. Let's see.
I agree with Jansen.
Yeah, I wasn't going to take a Cowboy. Cowboys suck, but you know what they're good at? They're good at, what's it called, garbage time?
They're good at going 3-0 and sucking.
Oh, I love Joe trolling the Cowboys in the preseason. It's so funny. Every time it comes on, I love it.
Everybody's like, it's preseason. I go, yeah, I know. But it's going to be the same come regular season too, so don't worry about it.
Why not get mid-season troll form? Like, just get there. Just do it early. Oh, man.
Jerry Jeudy is one of the worst. He hasn't watched Jerry Judy's film breakdown by Mike.
See, Browns fan, you guys are over here saying, I like Browns fans' opinions.
Browns fan 32.
My team is bad. And now he's saying that Jerry Judy's bad.
You need to reveal yourself because I feel like this is a burner account that has come to attack me.
No. I've seen him in my Instagram and TikTok comments before, so he's not fake. He's a real. He's
not a fake account. I feel like he's just attacking me, or maybe he just hates Joe. In which case, I'm fine with that too.
Actually, he said I had a pretty good team, so
he just said he hated Jerry. How do you hate Jerry Jeudy?
I agree with this though. The worst QB. That part of the statement was good.
Teddy Bridgewater. I was listening to Brady Quinn talk today. If anybody listens to Brady Quinn was talking, and he says that he used to his last job. He was interviewing Vic Fangio 2 years in a row, and Vic Fangio has never ever in the 2 years that he was interviewing him ever talked about a quarterback like he has talked about Teddy Bridgewater. And he said if he was a betting man, his money is on Teddy Bridgewater being the starting quarterback for the Denver Broncos this week 1.
I mean, it's not very hard to do.
Jerry Jeudy points. That's Jerry Jeudy points right there.
It's huge Jerry Jeudy points. And
Locke's playing Sutton.
It's like Drew Lock is
calm down.
He has his backpack on, right? And he's going to school. He's like kind of going to school, but kind of not. Like he can't decide whether he wants a rolly backpack or like an actual knapsack. And so like he's just kind of unsure, and basically he's unsure of who to throw to and whether it be a wide receiver or a cornerback. And then the safety comes in, like the school principal, and it's like all a wrap, and he gets suspended for a little while. So now we have Teddy Bridgewater.
I didn't see that quick little jab coming there. I like it though. Teddy Bridgewater's the guy. Here's the thing: if he gets announced after this next one, I have 3 drafts after that. 2 of them, one of them you don't have to draft a tight end, but I will be much more interested in Noah Fant if I know that Teddy Bridgewater is going to be the guy.
One of those drafts you're going to get rocked by the football therapist. He's asking if you're ready for it.
Oh, yes, I'm definitely ready for that. He got the first overall pick in that draft. See, that's just not fair to me. Like, I don't want him having the first pick in a draft, especially in a style that I haven't competed in a super flex league before. And I'm using that Fantasy Pros app. If anybody out there wants to let me know, the draft grades they give sometimes are very confusing because they like factor in your kicker and defense into your draft grade. And if you don't get them, your draft grade could be like a C for not drafting a kicker and defense. It's like, I'll just pick somebody up.
I don't understand. I've never understood that strategy that you use, Tony. If
What?
you know you need a kicker and you know you need a defense come week 1, why aren't you drafting them?
Well, because what I did was I picked up players I thought might happen, like might pop. I picked up Zach Ertz in case he got traded, and instead of having a defense. Now that we know Zach Ertz isn't getting traded, I'm picking up the Carolina Panthers at home against the New York Jets on the road with a rookie quarterback. It's as simple as that. And I'm fine with it. I'm telling everybody right now that everybody's going to come out with their fantasy advice, the number one streaming defense or whatever. Like, this is a defense you could look for in week 1, and it'll be the Panthers at home against a rookie quarterback in his debut. Absolutely will be.
Rock out. You just missed this whole conversation about Mixon, so you need to go back and check it out. We're not going to go back over it, but Mixon sucks.
He gave you the Cliff Notes version on that.
So
you're something else.
Ben, you're just going to sit there like that and take that Jet slander that he's saying start all Carolina Panthers week 1?
I mean, So look, there's a difference between, starting all Carolina Panthers because Marcus May is going to throw Robbie Anderson on his what. So nevertheless, I think you start both offenses. I don't think Carolina's defense is proven. It's kind of like there's 2 episodes of Toilet Bowl on that first Sunday. It's the Panthers Jets and it's the Texans
Jaguars.
Thank you. And so it's like I agree with Tony with the defense, but I mean, you could be surprised on how the Jets perform with just like they have all new toys, from the coach to the quarterback to the wide receivers to the running back. I mean, there's like no new people or no old people except for like Mekhi Becton on the left side, and Chris Herndon, but who really cares about him?
Not anymore. Croft took over.
Yeah, I kind of disagree about the Panthers thing. I think the Panthers defense is miles ahead of the Jets defense. Miles. Years.
But even here's my thing. This is the reason why I'm saying the Panthers. You got week 1. There's going to be a couple of confusion sacks, right? Like there's going to be some sort of miss the protection. There's more of an opportunity for interceptions because you have somebody that likes to take chances in his first NFL game. I just think there's a lot more opportunity to get a big fantasy week on like a touchdown or a pick 6 or like more fumble opportunities with a team that is trying to like really figure it out for the first time in an NFL game with a rookie quarterback. I'm not saying I'm going to stream against the Jets all year long. I'm just saying week 1 on the road, it feels like a good spot to be in.
Those Jets weapons are going to get introduced to Jeremy Chin, J.C. Horn, and Devonta Jackson. Sorry, week 1 is going to be a good time. Robbie Anderson's going to go off. So whoever drafted,
we got Brian Banks.
Whoever drafted Robbie Anderson in this mock draft was pretty smart for that week 1 matchup.
Tony, I got one question for you. I know it's a mock draft, and I know it's football season, but today is the late Kobe Bryant's birthday, and somebody has a question for you.
Oh my gosh. Never. Nobody's ever going to shoot a piece of trash and yell, Booker. They're not going to do it. Nobody, not even his own kid or nephew or anybody, not a neighbor. Nobody. It's never going to happen.
If you want stuff like that, if you want somebody to say that, you need to go get a hold of Max Kellerman, and he'll say some crazy crap like that.
Well, not anymore.
Booker.
Chris Middleton, maybe.
Somebody messaged me and they were like, "Look how good the Team USA is playing when Devin Booker got here." I was like, "I'm not responding to you. I can't talk to you." You also know that Chris Middleton showed up wearing number 4. Brett Favre, greatest quarterback. There we go. Let's move on. Brett Favre.
Brett Favre.
It's totally off topic. Favre. Yeah, we don't need to go there. I'll do it on another thing. Mike, I do like the value of Robbie Anderson, though. 7th round, like that. I think that's a good value pick. I'm excited just for like the storylines of what's going on with the Panthers and like how good they'll be. I also like the Giants storyline a little bit. Like Danny Dimes is on the clock. I don't know if you guys saw that post where Danny Dimes dropped back. He's like, it looks like he's going to look downfield and then he throws it directly to a linebacker. And even the linebacker was like, what the hell was that? It was like, I don't know. I kind of feel bad for that kid, actually.
That.
Yeah.
I did see that also.
Terrence Marshall season.
He got drafted.
Oh, everyone just keeps sniping me this. Oh, gosh.
Terrace Marshall,
All
he
right.
didn't get drafted yet. He didn't get drafted yet, did he? No.
He's trying to speak it into existence.
He should. I think that I definitely think, depending on how many rounds there are, this is only 12 rounds. I don't think he should get drafted in this necessarily.
No one likes Dimes. And then it's like, my boy Danny Dimes just does things you won't expect.
Yeah, like trip at the 30-yard line in an open field.
Those games are probably fun to watch if you're not a Giants fan.
Very fun.
It will be.
He made the negative
He's like
100 club.
He's like the more uncoordinated Eli Manning. It's like, Eli Manning is very uncoordinated, but Danny Dimes, on the other hand, he brings it to a whole new level.
He's just put in a tough spot, in a spot that you can't succeed, and I feel bad for that kid.
Wow, Tony just went really early.
Hey, a couple guys, Tony, that
yes. On cue.
Even as Giants fans.
If you guys want to follow him on Instagram.
Well done. I like to see AJ Dillon going there, Boda. I'm not sure if you're still in the chat or not, but this is kind of the area that I've been looking for him in my mock drafts.
Yeah, Tony's been on AJ Dillon for a little bit, even before some people.
AJ Dillon is AJ Dillon is one of those guys that when you look at him, it's like, oh, he's perfect for Green Bay Packer football. Like it's gonna get cold there, and you're gonna want to run the ball late in the year, and that's playoff time for us. He gets a couple of those home games, and you could just see him smashing. And now that there's no Jamal Williams, if he's getting those touches that Jamal Williams was getting last year, like I just think he's going to do more with that than Jamal Williams.
See that, Tony?
Yes, that's right. That's right. The Packers are coming. The Packers are coming.
Is Corey Davis moving up on anyone's radars or anyone else?
No, everybody sleep on Corey Davis as much as you can.
Please.
He just went. Stevie A. Smith just took him.
Where you can get him,
right
he doesn't
now.
need to be an animal. He can be a bench guy for you and be a wide receiver 1 level guy. Damn it, man. Is he going to do
Tony, I was going to tell you 2 people that fell so far in my rankings.
Well, he's on auto draft, so.
Since we've been doing these fantasy mock drafts and watching preseason games, 2 running backs that have fallen for me that I was very in love with earlier one is Trey Sermon, who went, just a little bit ago, and the other one is Michael Carter from the Jets. Both of them have fallen a little bit in my mind,
for sure.
fantasy-wise.
Well, we went through a thing where it was like we didn't have much to go on, and people were just sort of speculating who was going to take over. And that's the kind of the funny thing about when you get into these and you're really into Twitter and talking fantasy a lot, is like the speculation that goes on sort of drives where these things are happening. But as much as I like Michael Carter and Trey Sermon, like I'm just there's so much. Like Tevin Coleman is a capable back who's a veteran that was with Robert Salah in San Francisco. There's a couple people that are on front of him on the depth chart. No, he easily could have the job. Trey Sermon
Tevin
could
Coleman
easily
a
get the job.
couple years ago was super fantasy relevant.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
like there's something to be said for his departure from San Francisco to the Jets and following Robert Saleh. And so, I mean, it's just kind of like, I think until the season starts, Michael Carter's draft position should drop. I don't know if it will, in redraft at least. And so, I mean, because the articles they were coming out with, they're like, oh, he's the third man on the depth chart on the running backs. Like Ty Johnson is even above him. And, Ty Johnson had a couple good games to end the year last year. But just the fact of the matter is that Michael Carter didn't play with the first team on Saturday, even though the first team was out there for a while. And he played with the second team. So, you never know what could happen. Tevin Coleman's injury prone. Ty Johnson is just, unproven. And they'll probably give him a shot, and it'll be like kind of like a circus, like here come the Jets and the running backs.
Jets, Jets.
That's not how it goes.
We should make a rock group together.
Right?
I will say, though, like if you look at the strategy that Johnny Talk Sports has deployed in this draft, I do like getting Michael Carter there because if you've waited on running backs this long, get some running backs with like huge upside. And at the end of the year, if they're just sort of like, let's see what we have in this kid.
Yeah.
And they just name him the starter at like, week 12 or 13. And they're like, he's just going to be our starter for the rest of the year. And we're going to try and give him 15 to 20 touches a game. All of a sudden you've stumbled into, a really solid player.
Hi, Tony Tucker. What in the blue hell?
What?
Alex, get your ass back into class.
What in tarnation?
Alex Robson, another Jets fan.
In the house.
He's going to be a broadcasting legend. I can't wait to be like, oh, I remember when young Alex Robson would flip out and say the craziest things.
He used to grace us with his presence. He used to grace us with his presence.
And now he's just telling everybody that everyone else is taking lefts in NASCAR.
What?
Max Kellerman is leaving First Take in ESPN. Yes, hopefully the internet gets him, but I bet he's probably going to go somewhere else.
Max Kellerman coming to the Warzone Sports Network, just so you guys know.
We signed him yesterday. Oh, wait, don't tell anyone. That was an accident. Don't screen record this and spam it everywhere.
Don't tag it either. Don't tag Warzone Sports Network on Instagram.
Joe, I think you did nice for yourself on those two late running backs. The Brian Edwards thing's a little confusing, but I get it.
That's the next TO, Tony.
Yeah, that's what people are saying.
People.
You
might not see him. He's there. He's just a voice.
You're the only one that can mimic him. Sorry. So everybody else take it back. If you mimic Alex, take it back.
I would never.
I think everybody should give it a shot. It's really fun.
Tony does do it the best, though. It's pretty good. It's pretty remarkable.
If I close my eyes, I wouldn't know the difference.
For real.
Where?
All right, this is for you, Tony.
No, won't catch me calling that. What's for me? This pick you're about to make? Did I miss it? Yes. Yeah. I love it.
There it is.
Here's why I like that pick even more. That they've been holding him out.
That's right.
Like,
Boda?
Let's not even put him out there to get injured or whatever. Like, I feel like he's really going to be locked in with Russ and Lockett and Metcalf. Like, these are the guys that we're looking at in our receiving options. They're on the team. They're starters. Their positions are solidified. Because he's new to the team. Shouldn't he be playing a little bit? Unless he's just terrible. I don't know. But I feel good about it. And you're getting him in the 11th round. It's almost free. You could drop him after week 1 and you won't feel bad about it.
I honestly probably could have waited till round 12, but I just wanted to get you in there real quick.
I'm going to hype you up, Tony. Tony, are you streaming the draft next week?
I don't think so. That's isn't that a truth serum league? They might have something going on, but I don't. I'm not planning on streaming. I can't stream and draft at the same time, so I will not be doing anything.
Tony is horrible at that.
Yeah, my kids have to like come up and be like, "Hey, I hurt myself," and then I'm still like, "How serious is it? Can it wait 58 more minutes until I'm done?"
Are we believing this that Alex Robson doesn't watch NASCAR?
Are you gonna call him a liar? You damn liar, Alex.
What the hell?
Yeah, on the other side of the room that he's just like, these are my Darrell Waltrip posters over here. What?
Boda's about to grace us with the sleeper.
Actually, Boda's promising us a good sleeper, huh? All right, let's go, Boda.
Write it down.
Let's go.
You can do it. He takes Drew Lock. I'm done. I'm not doing.
You can make that sound like.
We could play the touchdown animation for the Nuts and Bolts show.
Oh my gosh, I can't believe I got Elijah Moore in the 12th round.
Okay, I'm not gonna lie.
Okay.
Did he go to college with this guy or something? Like, what? Who is this? I had somebody in one of my leagues. They were like, he was roommates with Eric Ebron, and we were in a fantasy league. And he was like, "I'm taking Eric Ebron from the Detroit Lions," and I was like, "This guy's gonna be terrible." He led the league in drops that year. I think it was not good. I like the pick right before that Johnny made. I think that Terrace Marshall is like maybe pulled hamstring away from being somebody who could really do some damage. I liked him when we were talking about him in the draft. I wanted him to go to the Ravens. Remember, I was like put Terrace Marshall with Lamar Jackson.
Y'all need to pay Max Kellerman $5 million a year. Yeah, we could probably pay him, but Tony would have to take a pay cut for that to happen.
That is going to be a bit of a haircut, and I live a very lavish lifestyle. There's things that I need. I only wash my hair with Evian. I bathe in coconut butter from the Himalayan mountains. It's a very lavish life. I want to talk about Mike's last pick here real quick. He's trying to sneak this bullshit in, trying to get our boy Roundtree,
Larry Roundtree.
I actually think that Roundtree could have some value on the Chargers at some point this year, right? Like legit value. He's the only big back. Him and Bradwell are the only big punishing backs that they have on the roster, because Joshua Kelly is minutes away from getting a pink slip. When does cut day take place? Tuesday?
Yeah, I believe so. But yeah, when you get Austin Eckler, you got to think about, well, what if Austin Eckler gets hurt? And you got to be prepared for that scenario. Well, I got Austin Eckler in round 1, and I get Larry Roundtree in the final round of the draft. So I'm prepared for that scenario, because I agree with you, Tony. Watching preseason, there is no reason, no tape that displays that Josh Kelly is better than Roundtree right now. The only person I'd be worried about is Justin Jackson. But if Eckler goes down, I see Roundtree being able to display his talents out there. He might not be an immediate starter, but over a couple of weeks, if he's balling, they may start going to him more than Justin Jackson.
Agreed.
Did Justin Jackson
let that biased love get to you? Let that biased love get to you.
Did Justin Jackson?
This is Shaft Jr. Richard Roundtree's son plays for the Chargers. Shaft. I'm just going to be yelling Shaft
Shut
every
your
time.
mouth.
He's a bad mother. Shut your mouth.
Tony, you got to know our demo. None of us know what you're talking about.
I know.
I'm only talking about Roundtree.
Right. Josh Kelly was so disappointing last year. He had all the opportunity to be the number 1 back while Eckler was out, and he just, he pulled the Joe Morley and dropped the kids off at the Super Bowl.
The Chargers had to go and pick someone up off of the streets.
Off these streets.
You want to remember who it is? Trivia?
Kellen Berlage.
Kellen Balazs.
Kellen Baelish.
Hey, he might ball out for the Steelers this year.
Yeah,
I know they got Harris, but he's probably gonna win the backup spot.
Mike, that was a 3-headed tragedy between Jackson, Balazs, and Kelly. Like at one point, I had all 3 of them because I didn't know who it was going to be, and I should have had 0 of them.
Balazs is your guy.
Hashtag sell Warzone to ESPN is now trending on Twitter. I know.
Oh,
ESPN, we are not interested in selling, but send us your offer. We'll look at it.
Yeah.
We'll look at it.
Who you guys
Joe,
want to start with?
well, yeah, we can start with anybody in the chat if they want, or we can start with Ben's team. You did something interesting at the end of your draft. I can't wait to get to it.
Who?
You did. Joseph Morley did something interesting. Ben? You want to start with your team or not?
Yeah, sure.
Look, here, let me go, and then you can rebut anything I have to say.
All right. Yeah. Cool.
So this is a draft strategy that I've been using a lot, which is if I'm in the top 5 and I get a guy that I think is can be a top 3 running back, right? Depending on injuries and health and whatever, I think any of the top 5 guys can all finish in the top 3 in fantasy. And then I load up on the receiver position because I really like, especially if you're playing in a full point PPR, that's a tough team to beat every week. I feel like
that's loading up on wide receivers. 2
of those 3 guys could be like the top 3 scorers in fantasy every week. Like if Calvin Ridley has a game and goes off, and Robert Woods or CeeDee Lamb, like that package to me of those 3 wide receivers in full point PPR is unstoppable. Then you get 2 running backs that are both capable RB2s. They're not anybody's favorite RB2s, but you got passing game. We don't know what's going on with Chase Edmonds, but according to Eric Moody last week, he said that that's Edmonds' job. And like he talked to somebody with the organization, like it was firsthand account that he was good. Yeah. Tom Brady is Tom freaking Brady. I mean, he threw 40 touchdowns last year in a COVID year on a team he had never been on. I think Tom Brady could. I hate Tom Brady. Anyway, he's really good at football. I love Tom Brady's social media. I hate Tom Brady, the football player. Laviska Shenault and Antonio Brown, at which point that they're just luxuries to have on a roster like this. Ben, this is one of the favorite teams that you've ever drafted because I am also a big fan, and I've said this many times, I will not be shocked when Jamal Williams outscores DeAndre Swift in fantasy this year. Gerald Everett, Elijah Moore, great Flyers. This is an all-around. This is a very good team. Any thoughts? Anybody you missed? I heard you complaining a lot. You were like, Joe, you stole my guy.
Yeah. So obviously, I wanted to grab Darren Waller in the 3rd round, and then skip around. I wanted Myles Gaskin. I thought he would fall, and it was either going to be CeeDee Lamb or Myles Gaskin that I was going to reach for. And I decided to go with CeeDee Lamb instead because I was like, yeah, people are kind of like, Myles Gaskin. But nope, Joseph Morley decided to I'm going to grab him real quick. So, and then Robert Woods fell to me. And like, if Robert Woods is there for me in the 4th round, he's my boy. I mean, every league I've had him in, I've won. So like, he's kind of like a good luck charm. And he, in my opinion, he's the most consistent wide receiver in the league at the wide receiver 2 spot. And then that's like my wide receiver 3. And then Kareem Hunt, I think will score close to as many points as Nick Chubb this season, just with the offense that they got rolling there. And then Chase Edmonds, I'm a huge Chase Edmonds fan, so I kind of wanted to grab him. Tom Brady is.
I don't think I've ever heard that.
What?
I don't think I've ever heard anybody say I'm a huge Chase Edmonds fan, but keep going. Like that there was like, what? All right.
When I I said, hey, Mrs. Edmonds, how do you feel about Chase? She said, meh. She's like, so I'm on the fence. He's not the worst kid I have. No, but I like that you're a big Chase Edmonds fan. It's different.
It's just like it's funny because there was this one game where he really came out, like burst out onto the scene, and he was playing the Giants. And so like no matter what, like, and this is for anyone listening, no matter what running back you start, if Chase Edmonds is playing the Giants, you have to start him because he goes off every game. Every game he plays the Giants. But I mainly I was just I've had Chase Edmonds for a couple of years, just like I've been frustrated with him not like with Kenyon Drake last year. Like that's one of my fantasy team names is the Kenyon Drake effect, because he just goes to a team with and a running back that is capable and then kind of dumbs them down a little bit. And then Laviska Shenault, or I'm sorry, Tom Brady, he is I think the most consistent and most reliable points getter on that Tampa Bay offense. You don't really have to worry about him getting his. You kind of do with literally every single other person. And that's why I kind of matched him with Antonio Brown in, the 9th round.
There you go.
And then Laviska, I'm a massive Edmonds fan. There we go.
2-1.
That's 2.
Joe must not be as rare as he said.
Bring them all out.
And,
Bring all the Edmonds fans out.
Bring them out. Bring them out. Bring them out.
What if you get like a Josh Jacobs or a Josh Allen with a Kenyon Drake on your team and call him Drake and Josh?
Now,
No,
see, I get
no.
I get that reference, but I'm gonna pretend like I don't.
What? The Drake part not PG for you?
Well,
No,
one
no,
of them's in trouble now, right? So we don't talk about those guys.
A lot of trouble, actually.
Yeah.
A lot of trouble, like lifetime trouble.
I think this is a good team. Even like you were touching on, Tony, you were touching on the running backs in Hunt and Edmonds. He doesn't really need that big of a. You don't need the running back one production when you have, Zeke that should bounce back this year, and you have that receiver in stack just like he has. So I think this team is pretty good. Who drafted Aaron Donald? Come on, man.
It was me.
I think this is definitely a playoff team. One of my favorite ones on the board. Who is next?
Let's look at Mighty Mo's. He just was in the chat a second ago.
Mighty
Mo's.
Okay, this Mighty Mo's, welcome. Thank you for coming in. I really like this team, as I said before. I probably even maybe would have went in the other direction that your counterpart went to, where there was another receiver selected there, maybe like Cooper Kupp. If you had DK, McLaurin, and him, and then come back around to the 5th, see who's still there, maybe get like a James Robinson. I don't think there's much disparity between him and Mike Davis. Just like hypothetically speaking, Mike Davis is obviously going to have more opportunities, but in the 4th round, I just feel like Cooper Kupp, there's more advantage there. But I like the team because I like Mike Davis. 4th round just feels a bit early. I do think there's not a lot left in Adam Thielen. I'm a little confused on the Mike Gesicki thing in the 6th round, but I love
Washington
Ryan
fan,
Tannehill
right,
here.
Mike?
Yeah, he's a Washington fan. I think that's just like a needs thing. He saw he needed tight end and went for Gesicki right away. I don't think Gesicki's awful. I just think that's a reach.
Exactly.
I'm looking at the running back he took in Patterson down at the bottom, and I'm like, this has to be a fan of the team.
That's his Roundtree pick. Patterson balled out in the preseason game so far, so I guess that's why he probably took him. But they got McKissick to do that job that Patterson would do.
He's also the first one. I think this is the 14th one that we've done in the 14th week in a row. To take how do you say that? Tooney, and to take Jacoby Myers. And I really like Jacoby Myers. I don't know if he's draftable, but I really like Jacoby Myers as somebody to watch out for this year.
Well, that was the props I was going to give him too. Was the Jacoby Myers and the Phillip Lindsay picks. I think those are underrated. They're not sexy, but I think they're usable this year.
This team I feel like has a lot of potential. I think it's probably a 6 or 7 seed if the boom is not there. But my main thing is that a lot of these guys he could have waited for. He probably could have waited for Mike Davis and grabbed another receiver, but he also had Javonte. I think let's see. But okay, so there was other running backs he could have probably taken earlier, and the Gesicki pick was a reach. Phillip Lindsay was a bit of a reach. The Tony, the Myers. I think if the draft, if he just flipped a couple things up, the first 3 picks, super solid, and then it kind of just went a little haywire after that. But with that, I think the the potential for this team is high, but I still just see it between like 5 and 7.
Yeah, when you sit here and look at it, if he avoids the disastrous injury bug, I think his starting lineup right now constructed is probably a playoff caliber starting lineup. If you put it straight down the line, Ryan Tannehill at quarterback, Chubb and Mike Davis, the 3 receivers, one of them being the flex and Gesicki. I think that's a playoff team.
Yeah.
I would agree with that. I do.
He was saying something in the chat. I love James Robinson, but with Travis and Trevor Lawrence, I doubt Robinson will get all of his touches. Patterson is my sleeper because I think McKissick is going to make I don't think McKissick is going to make – you don't think McKissick's going to make that team?
That'd be surprising. Maybe you know something we don't, though. You watch the Washington football team a lot closer than I do because every time I look at them, I'm like
– Well, I'm with you. They're winning the NFC East this year, and it's not really that close at all. Okay, so this is one thing. Mike had said that he hadn't done a lot of mock drafts. Previous to this year, before like really like mixing it up with everybody, I would mock draft, but not as intensely as I have been this year. What I'm realizing is the more drafts that I do, it takes away from that panic. I don't ever reach in drafts now because I'm just like, oh, I'm totally fine if I don't get that. Like, I know exactly where I'm okay with getting every person. And if I don't get them there, then I'm fine with it. Does that mean my teams are any good? Probably.
No.
Like, we'll find out. We'll know. Like, at the end of the year. But for right now, I never am like, I'm going for that guy here. Like, everybody has a value and they're left there.
Well, that's why mock drafting is encouraged, Tony. That's why you should get as many mock drafts in as you can and draft as late as you can so you don't get that panic. So when you're on the board, you have multiple choices and you're not sitting there going, oh, you took my guy. Oh, you don't have that one game plan. And if you're doing multiple mock drafts, don't take the same people over and over in every single mock draft because it's not going to help you out when it comes down to it. But yeah, we've done 14 of them, Tony. 14 of these, and our last one is next week. So hopefully it helped a lot of people out and just seeing this. And here's your guy Jay Fly, and Jay Fly.
What up?
I'm glad you joined us, and you are a man of your word. Because you brought a player up that you said it could be a sleeper, and you took him at the end of your draft. But I'll let Tony go ahead and read your team off.
Yeah, and what's funny is like that's going to end up being my major problem with the roster. But
I can explain it though.
Okay, good. I will ask for it. I love the start of the draft, right? When you go that hard, with getting all those running backs there, getting Russ. I know you are a Seahawks fan, love Seattle, so you're getting your guy there. Plenty of potential and talent. The wide receiver spot is a little like OBJ. I just don't know if there's enough passes in that offense for him there. And then with Claypool, I'm kind of going like back and forth on the whole thing because like I thought Roethlisberger was done, but then he looked pretty sharp the other night in preseason, which I'll get more to that with Joe's thing. So maybe, who knows, Deontay Johnson, Juju, the tight end looked nice the other night. Ben seemed to like him. And then I really like you going after Michael Pittman Jr. I think is somebody that definitely has, I love that pick. As season progresses, I think he could pay dividends. And Hollywood Brown,
Hollywood.
We could see that. This is my question. This is my thing. I'm all for drafting 3 tight ends if they're not like top 10 tight ends, right? Like Noah Fant is projected inside the top 10. Logan Thomas on many people's draft boards inside the top 10. So then if I'm going in the 3rd round, which I love Dawson Knox as a sleeper, but if I already have those 2 guys, I would just much rather take a shot on another wide receiver or getting a 4th running back, maybe you do get McKissick or Rashad Penny or something like that. That would be my only gripe. But I am curious as to why you went a 3rd tight end with those 2 studs.
So this is my philosophy when it comes to it's kind of become my philosophy in fantasy football this year in general is typically I want to go after the top running backs first. And with the Chris Carson pick, there was Joe Mixon and David Montgomery that I was kind of looking at, especially with the bye week, bye week 9. But since I already had Derrick Henry, I went up and got Chris Carson. These have a great year. So with the tight ends, if I don't get Kelsey, Waller, or Kittle. None of them fall to me. At that point, I'm picking some tight ends late. And the reason I picked Dawson Knox specifically there at the end was because I think he's a kind of guy that if he starts like just having great games in the beginning of the season, I feel like he's going to be a waiver wire pickup that's going to be a headache to try to get. So I'd rather grab him first. And since I'm not 100% sure about Noah Fant, I'm not 100% sure about Logan Thomas. I think they're good pickups late. I'd rather pick them up later if you can get Gibson, Carson, Mixon, these guys in the first 3 rounds. I'd rather pick up running backs. But if they're all gone, I'm going for somebody like Kelsey or if Waller's still there. But since he wasn't, I'm going to kind of same thing with the wide receivers. I'm kind of just betting on guys that I think are going to have really good high ceilings. Like I think Hollywood Brown has a high ceiling. I think Dawson Knox can break out. I think Thomas and Fant also have high ceilings. But they're all those 4 players I'm not 100% sure about. So I just want to have some extra depth, which is why I picked up Dawson Knox and Hollywood Brown there with my last 2 picks.
So going into your bye week 9, I mean, there's 4 or 5 of your starters are on bye week 9. So
Definitely.
With that, would you be playing a tight end in your flex that week then?
Yeah, so that'd be a tight end flex. I'd definitely be looking to pick somebody up. I think really the wide receivers I'd be okay with. And that's another thing. I love Odell Beckham Jr. this year. So I know Tony said he's kind of, unsure about it, but I think Odell Beckham's having a bounce back year this year. So I think, people can say maybe reach for him, but I know there was some better, higher rated wide receivers there, but I definitely like Beckham, as a wide receiver 1 even. So when Mike Evans is gone, I have Beckham, I have Claypool, I have Pittman. I like those guys a lot. Then when it comes to the running backs, I have Henry, and of course, I have 2 running backs on bye, so I'd have to pick somebody up there. And then, I would be fine having Fant and Thomas. That's my tight end in my flex, and Dawson Knox if he goes off.
Well, you would have to have, because Logan Thomas is also on bye week that 9.
Oh, that's right.
So it would be Noah Fant and Dawson Knox.
Yeah. So the bye week. So my flex at that point would be Hollywood Brown or Dawson Knox at that point.
I can't see a roster that would be have long-term success with 3 tight ends on it if you still have 3 tight ends in week 9. I have 3 tight ends on my week, my preseason roster. I won't have 3 tight ends even by week 2. It won't I just won't have. I can't there's just so much more value in running backs or even a wide receiver there. I don't know. I'm interested to see how this strategy works out. We're going to play in a league together this year. I'm putting together the Warzone Fantasy League right now. So we're going to play in a league. So I'll be interested to see some of these strategies deployed. Thoughts? Was there anybody you missed out on that you wanted that you were thinking to yourself, man, I wish that person would have hung on a little bit longer? Anything like that?
Not really, honestly. I kind of just all the guys that I really wanted were kind of way down there, or they came right to me. Like Derrick Henry is a guy in the first round at almost any pick. I mean, it's Christian McCaffrey, Dalvin Cook, Derrick Henry for me, and then Saquon Barkley after that. So Derrick Henry was right there for me perfectly. Gibson was way ahead. I think it was all the guys were kind of no one was there. I think right at the pick besides maybe 2 players. I think Noah Fant was there. Other than that, maybe Mike Evans. But other than that, I kind of just knew the guys I wanted. I went out and got them. Russell Wilson, typically, I may have waited to go get him in that next round, but I just went out and got him. Same thing with Chris Carson. Same thing with, I believe Chase Claypool was another one that I did that for him, Michael Pittman Jr. So, and another thing as well is that I didn't realize until I think I was at the Marquise Brown pick, because I'm in best ball mode right now. I've been doing some best ball drafts where it's 20 rounds. So I didn't realize till late that it was 12 picks. That's why I was I want Dawson Knox. He was my that's my last pick. That's my 19th to 20th pick, depending on where he's at. So when I seen it was at 12, I was well, I don't want to leave the draft without him. That's why I got him late. But yeah, definitely. I think that hurt me like Ben said. Because I definitely would have picked up some depth behind the bye week 9, which is why I'm not normally worried about bye weeks until later on. I would have got Rashad Bateman or something like that in the 14th round, and some guys deeper that would have helped out. So yeah,
Mark Ingram. Mark my words.
You like him?
That's interesting.
I could see him having.
I don't like Mark Ingram this year. Go ahead, Tony.
Somebody's got to. I mean, somebody's going to run the ball there. I mean,
yeah,
it's got to be David Johnson, Ingram. I personally like Lindsey the best on that roster, but if you're looking that late, I think there's some value. I think there could be a week where he's the only healthy guy on the roster for a couple of weeks, and he still has some juice left. He still runs hard, puts his shoulder down, could get, bang out a couple big runs. Maybe he falls into the end zone and has a couple of usable weeks in fantasy.
I agree.
Who's up, Joe? Who's up next?
All right, let's go. Let's bring Mike back on. Let's go after Mike's team, and then we'll do mine, and then that'd probably be it. It looks like it. Where the heck is Mike's team?
All the way right, 11. Yep.
Yeah. This one says Mike.
Mike.
Anyway,
Austin Eckler, let's go.
Austin Eckler, trash.
Eckler, right?
Diggs, trash.
I love that pick. No, I love it, Mike. That was a great pick.
There's only one good pick. Jacobs, okay.
That's actually my trade pick.
No, so you took Eckler, you took Diggs, Swift, Jacobs, Hawkinson, Aaron Rodgers, Robbie Anderson, Harris, Mike Williams, Mooney, Singletary, and Roundtree. So you loaded up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 running backs. Mike, for you, Aaron Rodgers is your only quarterback, and you took Hawkinson a little bit. No, that's not early, right? 5th round. So what do you think, Mike? You like your team?
I do like this team. I like the way it turned out for being at this part in the draft. I've been moving around the last couple of weeks, taking a little bit more seriously, trying to figure out where I got to take guys compared to the beginning to the end to the middle of the draft. And I've realized that when I'm at the end here, I'm going to solidify myself with a running back, whether if it's Aaron Jones, if someone reaches on Eckler, or it's Eckler, come around and get Tay Adams or Stephon Diggs. And then from that point, I'm going to start picking up guys that I know are going to have some trade value early on in the season. I think DeAndre Swift's probably going to explode the first couple of weeks. Josh Jacobs, Damian Harris, like all these guys have the potential to be moved off my roster to upgrade at that position. So I'm thinking maybe pair like a Josh Jacobs and a Mike Williams for, a higher quality long-term RB2. But I like this team a lot. I would be happy with going in to my week 1 with this team. I like getting TJ Hawkinson where I got him, Aaron Rodgers. I feel really good about my Hawkinson, Rodgers, Diggs, Eckler core, and rotate the rest of it.
Yeah,
I really picks round 7 and 8. I mean, those are my favorite picks that you made for sure. I mean, Robbie Anderson in the 7th round, huge upside and tremendous value, reuniting with his boy from USC and Sam Darnold, and then Damian Harris. I mean, all this smoke around this new rookie out of Patriots camp. It's a bunch of preseason malarkey, and I think Damian Harris is going to have a great year. So I mean, those 2 picks are great. The 5, another 5 week 7. This time for bye weeks. But I mean, I think two of them won't even be, 3 of them won't even be on your starting roster. It doesn't look like.
Yeah, I don't even, and I'm not the kind of fantasy player. I don't care about bye weeks. I'll lose 1 week if that means I'm going to win the rest of them. So I don't.
I respect that.
I actually don't even look at bye weeks when I'm drafting.
Mike, I agree with you on the bye week thing.
Whoa.
Real quick, say this: bolt up, Mikey.
Bolt up. Yeah, the only time I'm looking at bye
Chargers.
weeks is if I'm looking for a backup quarterback. Say it's like a 14-round draft or 2 QB draft. I'm gonna try not to get 2 QBs with the same bye weeks. I feel like that's productive. But yeah, I don't really care about bye weeks other than that. Here's my question: I got Devin Singletary in the 2nd to last round, and I could have just got him in the last round just out of principle if I wanted to. Instead, I went with Roundtree. Singletary in the 12th round.
Yep.
I mean, he's still going to get the touches. I like Zach Moss, and I've been preaching Zach Moss, but I feel like in the 12th round, if you got to plug Singletary into your flex because of injuries, I feel happy about that.
No, I agree. I mean, yeah, you have a real opportunity at your 6th running back on your roster, 5th running back on your roster. That's good. We got James from Boda in here. How you doing?
I'm so good. Great to be here.
Awesome.
I don't know what I was going to say with that first part.
Let's take a look at this first squad. Saquon, George Kittle, J.K. Dobbins, Travis Etienne, Justin Herbert, future MVP of the NFL, Devonta Smith, Cortland Sutton, Deebo Samuels, A.J. Dillon, Rondell Moore, Amon-Ra St. Brown, and you're going to have to key me in on
Kylan Granson.
Kylan Granson.
Kylan Granson.
Okay. I will have you fill me in on him in a second. Bodo, this is probably my favorite team on the board because
flustered.
I will say this. Although I went with the other strategy before, I am big on all of those running backs. I don't love George Kittle there, but like I said the other day when I was listening to that podcast, that Stephanie Bell was, when she was talking to George Kittle, that he might try and like play with a little bit more of a level head and focus on being available for his team rather than going balls to the wall every single time. And if he plays 17 games, which is always my fear with George Kittle, it's not talent or anything like that. Instead, he plays 17 games. Herbert, I think, has a chance to like obviously really crush this year, and then get in Deebo Samuels and Cortland Sutton. Like those are guys to me that could be wide receiver ones talent wise. We just haven't seen it yet, but could be wide receiver ones, getting them in the 7th and the 8th round. And then AJ Dillon, I think, is a monster to have. So this is one of my favorite teams. This is good. Anybody else got thoughts? Want to talk about?
I got to ask. How many IR spots are in this league? 3, right?
Yeah, that is good. Yes.
Because Bodo, we only have one in the shot callers league. But honestly, this team, if it stays healthy, I see it being as a really high playoff contending team, if not winning it all. I don't like Travis Etienne. He's just unproven on a committee with James the Goat Robinson. And I can't believe J-Rob went so high in this draft. It's 5.9. But JK, I hope he can produce as much as he did last year. But Lamar Jackson was kind of stagnant with his throwing, throwing down the field and throwing in general. So that's why I feel like J.K. Dobbins is a little overrated, and having Gus Edwards there. But I mean, honestly, this team, I really like this team, especially the Amon-Ra St. Brown at the end and the Rondale Moore.
That's my guy.
And AJ Dillon could do Jamal Williams type things, but even better. I really like AJ Dillon, and I kind of hoped that Aaron Jones left this year so that he could take over.
Yeah, I was kind of optimistic about that for the Packers. I wanted like a Dylan Williams committee. I think everybody kind of wanted that. I thought Aaron Jones was on his way to Miami, but here we are.
But they gave him money. Go ahead, Jay. Sorry.
I was gonna comment on the running backs really quick. His situation, because I love J.K. Dobbins and I love Travis Etienne. Actually, I really think they're gonna have a great season. But what's crazy, if I'm not mistaken, you could have had David Montgomery still, right? Or am I? You could have had David. I would have paired one of those up with David Montgomery, and I think this team wins it all. This team is. And side note with Tony, isn't Granson like? Isn't he? There's talks he might play fullback this year, rookie for the Colts. Rookie for the Colts, right?
Yeah, he's a rookie coming in this year. The greatest thing about him that was kind of slept on was that he was a utility knife. He played slot wide receiver, mainly tight end. He lined up out wide, and he did running back. So from what I'm hearing from reports is that the Colts are just trying to see like as much as he can take, and he's so far risen to the challenge. So he could be a guy that ends up going undrafted, that people pick up on the waiver wire later down the road, especially with Mo Alley Cox in front of him. Like, I'm never going to have faith in Mo Alley. But there's a huge potential for him to carve out a role. And I think I even said this in the chat, like, him and Strachan, I never know how to say that guy's actual name, but those were 2 huge steals for the Colts. And it just kind of continues there, like, this is why they're one of the best run organizations in the NFL. They draft better than most.
I agree. Them blanking on the name of the GM there, but he's just done a fantastic job. But yes, I agree. And now I do remember this is young Tim Tebow. That's who Granson is. That's just what.
All right, I'm
this is
gonna
what
cut him right now. I know this is a mock draft. if that's the moniker you're going with, I'm gonna leave him in the dust.
But everything you said is exactly what we wanted Tebow to be when he came out of college. Like, this guy's athletic and he can do all of these things except play quarterback, and that's where we want him. Like, he's athletic and he can run, can he catch? So like he's a unicorn in that, like, I don't know if you guys remember, like, Mike Allstott was like really good. Like, he could catch a little bit and he could score. And he, like at one point I remember writing an article for Bleacher Report, like him and Peyton Hillis. I was like, these are the last white running backs that are going to get 1,000 yards. And then Christian McCaffrey like ruined my dream. But I guess not a dream, my prediction that I made like a dozen years ago. I'm all for it, like getting guys like that. Juszczyk has had some usable time, and we don't really know like what that offense is going to look like, other than Jonathan Taylor should eat a lot. Like, is Marlon Mack back? How much is left with T.Y. Hilton? Will Michael Pittman Jr. rise? And like you said, Mo Alley Cox, he's tall, but after being tall, what else is there?
Tall's gotten me through a lot of things in life, Tony. But I want to say with Granson, though, the good thing is, Paris Campbell's supposed to be playing out the slot. If he gets hurt, you got Granson. Well, Cox, gets hurt, you got Granson. Fullback, you need a fullback, you got Granson. Carson Wentz, if he doesn't make it through the year, then maybe, I don't know, since yeah.
Trying out for punter. Screw it. Take some notes from Pat McAfee.
You'll just see him go on the field and on like a fourth down on the 25th yard line with Blankenship's goggles on, and he'll just be going in to go kick the ball and be like, Blankenship squared.
Oh, Gold Glover's in here. What's going on? Packer fan right there. Welcome back. What else? Good. This is good. How many leagues you got? Are you just loading up on fantasy this year like the rest of us?
100%. Yeah. It's like I realized the other day, I just started a new job and they were asking me like, oh, you like run like a sports Instagram? I was like, yeah. And it's like, how many leagues you in? I was like, and I started counting. I was like, oh, Jesus, what did I do? What did I do?
Yeah.
No, I'm pumped, including one with shot callers. I'm going to beat him. No big deal.
Yeah, we'll see. But yeah, draft is Saturday for that. So where are you in that draft again? I forgot.
10. I made a joke. 10 out of 10, dime, something.
That's right.
And
so yeah, it's going to be fun. And these shoes are pretty damn cool in real life. So if you win, that's what you get. And I'm thinking of adding a third place prize to it. But those are still in talks. But gentlemen, I have to go. I have to get ready for work. Thank you so much for having me on. It was a blast as always. Fantasy shot callers, you know what it is. Fantasy is life. And yeah, everyone have a blessed day, and I'll see y'all later.
Yes, sir, man.
Thank you, Ben. Appreciate having you on. Go check out the Fantasy Shot Callers on Instagram. They're all over there. Joseph Morley is back.
I was wondering.
I'm back.
This draft specifically, I was wondering if Mike took Josh Jacobs. He said trade bait. Was it specifically because Joe's in the league? That was my question. Because he knows Joe's gonna give up way too much for Josh Jacobs in week 3 or something when he has one good game.
I don't draft Raiders and do all that.
I think Mike just doesn't want to say anything nice. There's good value in Josh Jacobs in the 4th round. Like, you're about to head into the 5th round. You're getting the starting running back for an offense. So there's good value in that. Not trade bait. Stop it. I know Mike will never say anything nice about the Raiders. I think just where I can get Corey Davis, I like it better. Cortland Sutton's returning from an injury, and I think he'll be fine and productive and has great opportunity. But if I can get Corey Davis in the 9th round, I'm going to take that as opposed to 7, 8, where that's where I'm kind of looking at my quarterback in that for my drafts. But I'm also like a Jerry Jeudy fanatic. I can't stop talking about Jerry Jeudy or drafting him in everywhere I possibly can.
I see Sutton and Corey Davis is about the same. So I don't care which one you take, but I would take them later in the draft, both of them.
Yeah, but
YNS
Odo's got
MJ.
Sutton.
So
he got Sutton in the 8th, almost towards the 8th round. That's a great pick.
So YNS MJ, I haven't seen you before. Maybe you guys have seen him, but hey, we do see football speakeasy, so you need to come check it out. And we did wide receivers and stuff like that. So check it out.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, like, I'm sorry, we've been doing this so much. I'm like, I've never seen this person before. They're like, Tony, I was on the last stream, and I'm like, yeah, you were. Welcome back. Like, there's so many of these like acronym names that are like coming up. I can't keep them straight anymore.
You guys want to see the best team?
Oh,
Didn't you say you don't draft Raiders?
I normally
How many 3 Raiders? 4 Raiders?
I normally don't. Last year was the first time in my personal league that I ever drafted a Raider, and I did draft Josh Jacobs. He lasted on my team 1 week. And I traded
That was the best week. It was the only good week, really.
Yeah, and I traded him straight up for Derrick Henry and won my league.
Well, let's take a look. Let's take a look at the Gruden grinders right here, because he got McCaffrey, Standard, Waller, Keenan Allen, Myles Gaskin, Javonte Williams in the 5th, Jerry Jeudy, Prescott, Tyler Boyd, Kenyon Drake, Gus Edwards, Brian Edwards, no relation, and Big Ben Roethlisberger. I want to start at the end there, because I'm one of those people where I'm like, the Steelers are going to be average at best, and Ben is finished. He had a little bit of zip on the ball and was getting it out there, and he's got some targets, 3 good receiving targets there. That tight end looked really nice. A good, healthy young running back. I think in 2 QB leagues, like, all of a sudden I was like, oh, this is a guy that I think would be good.
Well, people are down on Big Ben. He threw 34 touchdowns last year, right? 34 and 10 interceptions. So come on, is that bad? Is that horrible in the NFL?
No,
I'd be happy having Prescott and Roethlisberger.
Yeah, he looked like he was dragging himself to the finish line last year. Like, he really did look like a Monty Python skit where he's like, it's merely a flesh wound. Like, he was just a head laying on the ground by the time they got rolled.
If that happens again, I'll drop him this year and pick up Dwayne Haskins.
Oh, man.
Oh, my God.
That's what I was about to say, Tony. You say he still has some juice in him in the preseason. Of course he does. If Peyton Manning went out there, he could still zip the ball. But have Peyton Manning throwing the ball in week 12 and see what happens.
You know who can't zip the ball?
Go ahead.
Who?
Yeah, I was about to say Chase Daniels. Like, you ain't going to say Herbert or Hubert. That's what I'm calling
Well, is it from a fantasy perspective, though? If I have your pick right there, you already have Dak Prescott week 7. I know Mike even touched on drafting quarterbacks with the same bye week. But you have Kenyon Drake, you have Edwards, and you have Waller. I think Derek Carr for me is a pick right there. If he's not already, I don't think he was taken already. Why didn't you take Derek Carr? Not even because you're a Raiders fan, just because you have everyone he's going to throw the ball to besides Henry Ruggs.
Because he doesn't draft Raiders, clearly. Come on.
Exactly. Exactly.
Literally 33% of his team in a 12-round draft is the Las Vegas Raiders. I'm no mathematician, but 4 out of 12 is a pretty high percentage for one team to be rostered.
You know what I did notice about this team is I didn't draft enough wide receivers.
You did not, and that would be my one point of weakness on this team, but I really like where you got some of these other players. Like, obviously, Darren Waller gives you a competitive edge, but the running back situation, to me, it feels solid. This, you know what? Now that I'm looking at this team more, Joe, this is one of your weaker drafts. Like, normally is very impressive, and I'm going to say this, that no, Joe knows this. Usually, I'm a huge fan of Joe's teams, but I think Joe trying to make the right decisions or whatever.
No, it's not even that. I try to do different today. I try to go different. Like, I would probably more than likely would never draft Keenan Allen. I would never, ever draft Myles Gaskins in one of my real leagues. I just did it just to do it. I was just trying some new things. Like I said, do a bunch of mock drafts, try some new things. So this is one of the things. Kenyon Drake, like, I would have, like, he fell. So, of course, I'm going to take him that far down. At that, what did I get him, 9th round? So, Brian Edwards, I was just doing that to troll with Tony for a little bit.
I genuinely love
Brian Edwards can be somebody that we're going to watch on the waiver wires this year, but probably not somebody that we're going to draft. But it is.
I'm a Brown guy, yeah, John Brown guy this year. I think he's take
So,
a
I mean,
spot.
there's a couple things, and I'm not a big Dak Prescott guy. Do I hope that Dak Prescott, if I got Dak Prescott at this point in my regular league, probably be excited about it because, like I said, Dallas Cowboys love to put up garbage time points, and Dak is really good at that. He's going to make a lot of money off of garbage time points. But yeah, like these first couple of picks of Allen and Gaskins, I probably wouldn't have done in a regular league. So. Yeah, I'm good with it.
Yeah.
Like I probably
Did I freeze? Did Joe freeze? I don't know who froze.
would have probably took Jefferson after that, like in the third round. I probably normally would have.
Okay, I feel like I said enough mean
Yeah,
things
I'm
today. I'm said enough mean stuff. Boda, where can we send the rest of these people who are joined? Boda Instagram, Boda Sports.
Oh, you're talking like plug myself. Yeah. Yeah, that thing we do. Yeah, at Boda Sports everywhere. Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, everywhere.
Perfect.
Yeah,
Knocked
dude, I'm
it out
so
of the
good
park.
at sign-offs. My God.
Oh yeah, you're about to see me do this. I go, thanks everybody for tuning in. Mike, Joe, what do we got? What should we tell them about? That's how I do all my sign-offs. I hand it off
Delegate.
to them. Who knows one better than I do?
Well,
Some great quarterbacks made a career out of that. So
in about 45 minutes, you guys are coming back with the Warzone Roundtable.
I'll be here.
Mhm. Yeah.
So
If
whoever wants to join for that, if James, if you want to come back for that, it's just a roundtable where they talk a bunch of sports, anything and everything you guys want to talk about.
Complete nonsense. Whatever
I can
you want.
jump in on that.
Fun little conversation that's going on tomorrow. I think Mike's film room. And Mike, who'd you say you were spotlighting?
TJ Hawkinson tomorrow.
Oh yeah, okay. I'm excited for that. Detroit's only
pass catching option.
Amon Ra.
I was gonna say, I thought we like appreciated the bringer of the sun. What the hell?
Yes, thank you. I'm
I like
with you.
him all.
I already have him on one team.
I like him in
fan.
best ball at like round 18 or 19. I like scoop him up at the end if I need some
I
wide
can't
receiver
believe he's
depth.
still there. He wouldn't be there in my best ball league. He'd be gone in like the 13th, 12th
you
round.
gone.
He'd be out.
What else we got? Wednesday we have Sports Force. We have Silver and Black Allegiance. Come on with it. With the Raider Nation representing. Yeah, we got other stuff coming up. We got a bunch of stuff coming up this week. We're live almost every day. So if you're not plugged into the, I shouldn't say plugged in because that's dumb. If you're not set up and subscribe to the Warzone Sports Network, get to it.
Man, I'm tired of you, Joe.
We got it's fun, it's goodness. We're having a good time. A bunch of sports fans talking sports with other people who like talking sports. About to have some fun, some just good old-fashioned nonsense about to take place in about however many minutes. Whenever you cue up that song, feel free to cut me off.
Hold on, I got one last thing. Somebody just came in right now.
Advice for the 11th pick in the draft, Austin
yes.
Eckler is there. Should I take him? I would say absolutely.
I mean, yeah, they only got like the best center in the league, like in a
Yeah,
free agency.
Tell them more. Tell them more about the Chargers and how great their offensive line is.
Yeah,
Okay, that's a whole nother discussion.
If Austin
I'm super high on the Chargers, but like I don't want to keep the show going here.
Welcome.
If it's a PPR league, you probably can't go wrong with Austin Eckler at number 11 in a PPR league, depending on what league it is. There's a lot of questions I would have to ask that, but yeah, you're looking good. You came in at the end of the show. I hope you join us. What was his name?
Not sure.
Ben City. Join us or hit us up in our DMs, and we'll answer more. You can find us on Instagram, Twitter, all that stuff, or you can join us for Fantasy Football Speakeasy later on this week, and we'll answer some more fantasy questions then.
Yeah, and Mock Draft Monday. Although next Monday I think it's been canceled because we all have way too much stuff going on in life. Yeah, great.
30 minutes.
Wonderful.
We'll be back.
30 minutes. Recharge. Reboot. I need one of those old crappy smoothies that you had, Boda. Do you have any of those like just lying around?
Oh yeah, no. See, the thing is, you got to get like my girlfriend to just leave it at your house. Which please
Yeah.
don't. Now that I say that out loud, please stay away from my girlfriend.
Is that permission?
I was just gonna say.
Hit the button.
Oh.
Mike,